That's a nice story for me because I play jazz. I'm a jazz musician.
Oh, wow.
I'm also a trained music teacher. I've got the pieces of paper and the certificates, but for my
Wow.
own pleasure, I played jazz. And it was interesting. I nearly gave up music at one point. I was sent for music lessons by my mother, who really hadn't got much money. She used to knit gloves by hand and sell them for a very small amount of money. And she used the money to pay for my music lessons, which was very nice of her looking back on it. She didn't spend it on boxes of chocolates for herself. But I went to a music teacher who made me practice my scales, made me learn pieces of music by Mozart, etc., etc. All beautiful music then, now, but I wanted to play my tunes that I heard on the radio. And I found that I could hear a tune on the radio, and then I could sit down and I could play it. With my right hand, I could get the melody, and with my left hand, I would make up some plink plonk that would fit the right hand. And one day I was for my music lesson, sitting at her very expensive grand piano, waiting for her to come into the room, and I started playing one of my tunes. And she actually hit my hands with a ruler and said, "Don't play that rubbish on my piano." At the same time, I was forced to go to competitive music festivals and play a little piece of music in front of old people who sit there with pencils and papers judging what you are doing. And I realized this was nothing to do with me learning music, but it was to do with my music teacher, the prestige of my music teacher. If her pupils could win the prizes at the music festival, more people would send their kids to her for lessons and she could put up the
Hmm.
price of the lessons. So I realized that this was going on. So one Christmas, I got the bus back from my music lesson to my house, and it had been snowing, and there was a big pile of snow by the bus stop. And I made a hole in the snow and I put my music bag into the hole in the snow and covered it up. And I told my mum I'd left my music case on the bus, which was a pretty rotten thing to do because she'd saved up money to pay for it. It wasn't a very nice, I'm not terribly proud of it, but I was in a way forced into it. So she couldn't afford to buy me another one. So I stopped having music lessons. But I met a friend, and his dad was a jazz guitarist, and he listened to me exploring tunes, having listened to them on the radio. And he just said to me, "Well, Derry," he said, "what you're doing is great. Why don't you just try this and try that?" And he started teaching me some theory, some harmony, some chords, and I became a jazz musician. Um, I became a jazz musician as a kind of rebel against the music teaching that I was given. And now I love classical music. I love Indian music.
Oh, wow.
Uh, and in fact,
Did you get back? Did you also get back your music case, or you just left it there?
no, um, I told my mum I'd left it on the bus, which was a lie. I don't believe in lying. I don't believe in lying to your mother, especially when she loves you and saves up money for music lessons. But I hated the lessons so much. I thought I was entitled to tell a lie. I didn't tell her I'd put it in the snowdrift. And we went to the bus garage to see if the bus driver had handed it in. I knew damn well that he couldn't have done because I hadn't left it on the bus at all. But no, I don't feel very good about that. I feel quite guilty about it. But the point of the story is if you make kids do things
Mhm.
against their inclinations, it doesn't usually lead to success. But you need to find what the kid is good at and encourage it and then help it open up new horizons. But working from the enthusiasm and the talent and the gifts of the child. And I think that's my whole philosophy of education, Mahi.
And what were you saying? Just after Indian music, you were saying something.
Oh, Ravi Shankar. Um, I was introduced to Indian music when the Beatles, you remember, in the 1960s, the
Uh-huh.
Beatles got interested. George Harrison got very interested in Indian music. And I suddenly realized, listening,